I did not come to too soon to suit the likes of the assassin group. Walter Hodaruski enjoyed to hum a Gurdjieff anecdote of his um, recollection that Gurdjieff had brought a bunch of sheep to consciousness. And he was asked, "What'd you do with them?" He said, "I ate them up. What good are they if they don't do it for themselves?" Well, the persona um, was impinged upon by Pope Karl's successive degradations and then cultivated, brought to consciousness. Gail Burson would impinge. Will I be your favorite fan and will you send me tickets to all your shows? You are so great. A man named Dilip from India reminded me of her for his use of "you are so great" sarcastically. It's a form of what I call Indian slander, to build somebody up who you intend to take down. Now, this probably comes from Borges, because in Labyrinth there's a story of a man who's called number one by the people who intend to do him in. And that's a factor of the Telltale Stylebook. The stylistic and thematic properties were coalesced into a statement. Greg Carl groans, the listener is led through a bewildering myriad of surface details to arrive at the fundamental themes. In other words, they counted out time as they waited for the queer ball to awaken after they brutally pedophiled him as a conspicuously organized revenge attack by NAMIs and pit piracy organizations, robbing museums and hustling the proceeds and then patting little Queerball on the head for leaving a record that he snitched when they got caught so that the real offense could be identified. In other words, it's not that they did it, but that someone told on them that is offense against how do you put it? Offense against the provincial norm. Now, the listeners let their bewildering myriad of surface details to arrive at the fundamental themes, which is chastity in two versions, Pussy Ball. It's the elite oligarchs hustling behind the room behind the revolving bookshelf to depopulate by any means available and to deceive by tokens. They point the installation of black as a corporate art statement. And if you disapprove of their genocide, you're an anti-Semite racist. This is the Jeffin corporations using their noodle under their spinner beanie. And anybody who questions Seattle's alliance with them is wearing tinfoil. You get it? Okay, so you are so great. Well, copious aspects of the problem unfold. And I'm just waiting to see if anything comes to mind before I shut this down as a talk review. One of the things you come to understand is that they don't think in reasonable processes, they think symbolically. That's the way they do it. They don't care that they crushed out a little boy from Fulton Elementary School because he might as well be an abortion to them. And they signify it by him being a little boy from the fleet of World War II, San Jacinto ship, and he gets special tutoring by James W. Child on nuclear war, the moral dimension, they call it. And it's all to waste money. It's all to waste money. It's all to destroy the environment, to confiscate our limited resources, to poison our water and our food. And after aggravating the licentiousness of our society by every means possible to them, a very impressive wag hummed, "Evangelicals are Satan's favorite useful idiots." I thought that was well said. I don't like to throw around the word, but it was sarcastically intended. What has become of our priorities base? Ah, give it up, is what they say and groan and moan. Because people don't care about Tolstoy or Jane Addams. They literally don't. They want the divvies on the hanky pank. And that's Seattle's whole shtick. And that's Seattle's whole them. They can't extricate themselves from what they helped Obama pull. It's just too conspicuous. It's loud and clear that the fundamental themes you arrive at through bewildering myriad of service details is two virgins pussy ball. And that came from the mind and art of John Lennon and his team. So the evidence for a planned Houdini within the systematics of the Italian futurists who came up with the walrus idea of fourth dimensional use of media to tell a metaplex, a metaphor system, a complex metaphor for subordination to Euro controls, the European mind, the great European mind, who despises home economics classes in favor of might makes right, is loud and clear in the antics of Seattle, Washington. They cannot get enough of it. They say any advice I give them is me trying to save my own skin. Well, however you want to put it or however you want to think about it is fine with me, AOC and Omar. But the way I see it is you should prioritize the civic values and go after the people who are billionaire hustlers of the military industrial complex, who created this pornographic genocide peep show that seems to ghoulishly obsess the Israelis to the point where they going whole hog, including the postage on what I knew in 1993 was their actions to avenge Auschwitz. What's wrong with you that you would sit still and not say anything? I don't know. What's wrong with you that you would impress them by pressing into service a multiply disabled deaf person? So it's nothing. Because the nurses in the wax have seen everything. Well, that explains why the hair generation was put up against the wall by Alan Alda and his Hot Lips squad. They knew what they were going to do, is why. the Vietnam War was Hollywood rendering a pornographic genocide show as foreplay.